Hello and welcome. I'm Bio, and today, we're doing this again. So, I thought to myself, after playing Oneechanpuruu Z2 Chaos and Oneechanpuruu Origin, that I should go back and play the original Oneechanpuruu games. So I looked at playing Zombie Hunters and Zombie Hunters 2. Also known as Zombie Zone Other Tales. That's Zombie Hunters. I'll get into the reason why it's also known as that in a bit. But I thought, hey, why not? We'll go back, we'll play the older games, and we'll see how we get on, and I can give my opinion. Seeing as I've played Origin, I can give my opinion on how the original games are, even though I have played them in the past on the random occasions for sets and so on and so forth. So I'm going to talk about both Zombie Hunters and Zombie Hunters 2 in this video. The first is obviously going to be Zombie Hunters. Released in March 23rd, 2007 in the West, developed by Tamsoft, published by Essential Games, and known in Japan as the SIMPLE2000 series Volume 80, the Oneechanpuruu. Now, the first thing you might be asking yourself is, wait a second, what about Zombie Zone, right? What about the first Oneechanpuruu game? Well, Zombie Hunters, also known as Zombie Zone Other Tales, is basically a 1.5 version of the original game. It is the exact same game, with the exact same story, with the exact same, I guess you could say, gameplay, stages, just with a few extra playable characters. Aya's got a new costume, and so on and so forth. In terms of extra playable characters, I think in the original you can only play as Aya, and when you beat the game, you unlock Saki, her sister, as a playable character, whereas with the 1.5 version, Zombie Hunters, Zombie Zone, Other Tales, you do have Aya as a playable character from the start, but you also have her old costume from the first game. Saki is also available from the start, I believe, and so his Riho Futaba, the main character from the Demolition Girl game. Why is she in this game? I don't know. What relevance does she have within the Oneechanpuruu series? I don't know. She doesn't really appear again. She is, for some reason, in Zombie Hunters 2, which makes you think that she's like a recurring cast, but then there's also other cameo appearances from other characters in the second game. But no, after this, she doesn't really appear. Like when Oneechanpuruu moved on to the Xbox 360 as their first, I guess, 7th gen game, just didn't include her anymore. I don't know. There is an unlockable character in this game, and it is Riho Futaba's sister, Makoto. Again, why? I don't know. So, I'm going to go over a few different things with the game, because I've given you the lowdown. First, let's get over this naming, right? Why do I keep referring to it as Zombie Hunters, as Zombie Zone Other Tales? It's because this game, I'm very confused with how it was released. I am pretty certain originally 505 Game Street, which are the ones who published the first Oneechanpuruu game as Zombie Zone, were going to publish this game, but lost the rights to it. I don't know what happened. But then Essential Games picked it up and released it as Zombie Hunters. Now, I don't have a physical copy of Zombie Hunters, because have a look online to see how much those games are going for now. Ridiculous pricing, by the way. Ridiculous. So I can't comment on whether or not it's exactly correct, but you try looking for Zombie Hunters online, if you know what I mean. You won't find it. All you will find is Zombie Zone Other Tales, but there's no record of Zombie Zone Other Tales being released. So my theory is that Zombie Zone Other Tales is Zombie Hunters, and what happened is 505 Game Street were the ones that were originally going to publish it, and then they lost it, or Essential Games bought the rights to it and released it themselves. They didn't re-release it, but they released it themselves. Which is interesting, because it looks like Essential Games did absolutely nothing at all, because it still shows on the game that it's published by 505 Game Street. So, which is quite funny. And obviously it's called Zombie Zone Other Tales. So that's a pretty funny little bit of trivia. If again, there's no real way for me to confirm, but so I will talk about the story because there isn't really much of a story, and at the end of the day, I feel like I kind of got to for a specific reason, and I'll get to that. But let's talk about the gameplay first, right? We'll go over the usual modes. So you have the story mode, you have survival mode. Survival mode is exactly what you think it is, just survive as long as you can. There's quests. Now, quests are like specific conditions that you can clear while you're playing through the game. I didn't clear any of them. I got like... I ticked... They say that each one of these quests has 5 boxes you got to tick. I would tick 4 out of the 5 boxes, but never actually cleared one of the quests. So... it is what it is. I don't know exactly what the quests do. It's not like I got a manual to hand. But I imagine they probably just help. Maybe they unlock costumes. Maybe they help give you points towards, you know, strength, like stat points towards your character and so on and so forth. Because that's what you do. You do, as you play through the game, there's these little yellow orbs that you can, that the zombies drop, that if you pick them up, it'll raise your bar and raise your level up, and then you can, at the end of each stage, you get skill points that you can assign to your character. So there's also these red orbs as well, but they build up your baneful meter, your blood meter, or whatever you want to refer to it as. So I'll go over the usual things with Oneechanpuruu. So in Oneechanpuruu, it's a hack and slash game, right, where you basically hack and slash, and that's what it is. The newer games tend to go into this a lot better. For obvious reasons, they're newer games. Z2 Chaos is the best in my opinion. Origin is a downgrade. I've got a whole video on that, so check that out if you're interested in my opinion on both of those games, because I've got separate videos for each. But obviously this is like the original. It's not going to be the same quality, obviously. I'm going into this thinking it's a budgeted game, simple series game at the end of the day, so my expectations are low going in. I went in low with Buccaneer and found out I quite enjoyed it. I went in low for Covert Command, and yeah, I had issues with Covert Command, but in the end I found the jankiness around it fun. I'm referring to both of those games because they're simple series games. May not be developed by Tamsoft, but they are simple series games. So I say, but I think Covert Command is developed by Tamsoft. I think. I can't remember. Can't remember. So I'm going with that kind of mindset. And even with that kind of mindset, the game is still poor. It is very poor. It is a slog to get through Zombie Zone, Other Tales, Zombie Hunters. You know, I might as well just call it Zombie Hunters because that's what people are going to know it as more. It was a slog to get through it. A big slog. And it all comes from the fact that Aya is weak as fuck. It takes way too long to kill a zombie, in my opinion, right at the beginning of the game. Now, yes, okay, you can level up your character, and yeah, I had to repeat stages multiple times. There's only 6 stages in the game. I had to repeat stages multiple times just to level up my character so I wouldn't keep dying. Now, I was playing through the game on normal, and yeah, I will admit, stages 1, 2, 3 didn't really have much of an issue. Almost came close to dying in stage 3, but didn't. Stage 4, 5, and 6 are cuntish. They are cuntish. And they literally make you, at least in my opinion, go back and have to replay stages 1 to 3 multiple times just to level up your character. And that was so frustrating. In the end, I spent more time with this game than I spent with Oneechanpuruu Origin. I think I told you that Oneechanpuruu Origin took me around about, I think it was about 12 hours. This game took me around about 18 hours. I'm not even shitting you. 18 fucking hours because I kept throwing my head against a brick wall again and again and again because I recorded my footage going through, and I'm not going to upload my playthrough because it's so fucking bad. And I just can't be bothered. I was like, no, I'd have to like edit it to like perfect runs similar to how I did Kart Kings, and I'm just like, I don't care. The playthrough's already on YouTube. Somebody's already done a full playthrough where they play through the entire game on YouTube and did a better job than me, so they can fucking they watch their video, don't want. So I'm not even gonna bother. I am gonna do some highlight videos though, here and there, of like just gameplay and shit for biotechs. but it was just an absolute slog to get through. And it all stems from the combat is not an issue, right? So basically, you press the square button to swing your sword, and you press the triangle button to kick, right? The kick is useful. If you get a bit swarmed, you can do a, like, tilt the analog, the left analog stick forward, or was it right analog? Yeah, stick the left analog stick, tilt the left analog stick forward and press triangle, and she'll do a sweeping kick which will launch zombies away from you. So zombies overrunning you is not really a big problem in the game. And the combos that Aya has is really good. They're actually fairly decent. It just sucks that you have to build a meter up to unlock more combos. That is really annoying. Basically got to put skill points into this meter, and it builds up and unlocks more combos and so on and so forth, which is just like frustrating when I would just want the combos unlocked from the get-go. But there is some decent combos in there, and the lock-on, yes, there's a lock-on button, is fine. It works absolutely fine. But again, when you start the game, you are incredibly weak. Incredibly weak. It takes ages to kill a single zombie, where in the newer games, it's much more fast-paced, and that's exactly what it kind of needs to be. Now, I know that the reason they probably did this is because of padding, and to make the game longer than it is. Again, there's no reason the game should have taken me 18 fucking hours, 18 hours of footage to play through, because who knows how many attempts it took me to get through stages 4, 5, and 6. I could go through the footage and count, but fuck that. Because of just how horrible it is that they throw you. And it's not because it's like the standard zombies that you fight are fine. But the later stages have much stronger zombies. They have these like dog-like, I don't know, swamp reptilian dog kind of zombie things that attack you, creatures. Something you would expect to see in the Altered Beast PS2 game. And you have these like ogre-looking things that attack you as well. And they're just, they're very strong. They're very strong and take your health down very quickly. Then there's also the swamp monsters. Now, in the Origin, you've got these monsters that you have to go into the baneful mode to be able to kill, or you do a parry on their attack. You don't have the parry in this game, from what I understand. There's no parry, there's no block, there's no shit like that. There's just dodge, the X button. Well, not the X button, yeah, the X button. While you're locked on, pressing the X button in a direction, you'll dodge in that direction. To the side, backwards, forwards, whatever it may be, right? Which is fine. And if you're not locked on, the X button jumps. But a block would have been very helpful. Or even a parry. When you have these swamp zombie things, well, they're not swamp zombies in this game. They look more like scarecrows than anything else in this game. You've got to keep killing normal zombies until you build up your blood meter, your baneful meter enough, so then you can go into the baneful mode. That's what it's officially called. The baneful mode, to be able to kill these fucking zombies. By that point, your health is fucking low anyway, because you've had to continually fight zombies again and again and again and again. So you're sick and tired of fighting these zombies, right? Your health is low. Then you go into the baneful mode, and oh, looky, hands off Snooky. The baneful mode slowly drains your health. Great! Well, the only way to get out of the baneful mode is to die, or to use one of the stat tunes. Now, the stat tunes do appear in the stages, and I will admit the stat tunes are pretty forgiving in stage 6. I'll give them that. But oh, and there's also these portable stat tunes you can pick up. But it doesn't matter, because you get multiple of these rooms where you'll go into a room, it'll lock you off and say you have to defeat all the zombies. But oh look, there's those swamp scarecrow looking zombies. Now I've got to just keep wailing at zombies, trying to dodge hits the best I can. The controls aren't great at the end of the day. It is a budgeted PlayStation 2 game. I would say that the controls are actually worse than Buccaneer in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. Some would say otherwise. I would say worse in my opinion than Buccaneer. Buccaneer is more janky but more consistent, whereas with this game, it's got better controls, but sometimes things happen and you're like, why did you do that? I'm locked on to a zombie and the character jumps instead of dodging to the side, and I'm like, why did you do that? So yeah, I found the game quite frustrating, to be honest with you. Very, very frustrating. And like I said, it's not, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad game, right? The bad thing, the controls are fine. The dodging is fine. Yes, okay, sometimes it was a bit frustrating. The baneful mode, it's an interesting feature of the game, right? You still have the whole entire thing where if you get too much blood on your sword, you got to press L1 to slash your sword in the air to get the blood off. That's fine, right? I don't mind those features. It makes the game unique and adds a bit of challenge to like micromanaging kind of thing that you have to keep an eye on. What I don't like is when they make the zombies super, super strong or very tanky just for padding. That's what I don't like. And that's why I would personally say that I can't recommend you playing this because of that. You will find this game very frustrating. I found this game more frustrating than I found it fun playing through the game. But, you know, it is what it is. So, and it doesn't help that Stage 6 is a boss rush, by the way. Yeah, Stage 6, boss rush. Enjoy enjoy two of the bosses you fought previously, plus the final boss. And the final boss is hard. The final boss is very hard. Let me just reset the OST. There we go. So the final boss is very difficult. The final boss is obviously Saki, her sister, but she's very difficult. And it's probably one of the only bosses I've seen that will actually actively dodge your moves. So she not controls, but she plays like you play. And yeah, it's difficult figuring out her moveset and so on and so forth. So I'm so glad that I decided to play through this game normally and not through my usual means. If I played through this game normally, it wouldn't have taken me 18 hours to get through the game. It wouldn't have taken me 18 hours. I was hesitant. I was going to try and play through the game, but by using like save states. So I'd beat like a room of zombies, and then I'd use a save state on the PCSX2 emulator, and then move on. But then I like thought to myself, well, if I keep dying there, and if I got low health, and blah 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 blah. So I decided against it for this playthrough, and yeah, I kind of think I regret it. 18 hours. 18 hours, boys. Must have spent about fucking 5 hours on stage 4. 4 hours on stage 5. And then spent probably about 6 hours on stage 6. Just repeatedly trying again and 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 ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It just shows how bad I am at video games as well. I do hope that Zombie Hunters 2 is better. I haven't played it yet as of me recording this, but Zombie Hunters 2 is going to be talked about after the fact, obviously, in the second half of this video. So, that's the game itself. Let's talk about the story, right? First of all, you've been hearing the music in the background. This is the soundtrack to, I think, the first game, and obviously other Zombie Hunters, or other Tales, whatever you want to refer to as. Not many tracks in the game, but it's okay. It's quite upbeat. You do get a bit tired. You do get tired of hearing the same track again and again and again, especially if you repeat in stages again and again and again, just to try and level your character up to make them strong enough to actually survive the later stages. Maybe I should have just lowered the difficulty, but you know, it is what it is. And I just tried pushing myself, making my character stronger. You know, repeating stages again and again and again, even when I shouldn't have. Just to try and make Aya stronger. So it made it easier for me to take on the final boss. I can tell you I will not be putting that many hours into Zombie Hunters 2, at least I hope not. So, and you could argue and say, oh, but you put 18 hours into the game, that must mean you must have enjoyed it. I did enjoy aspects of it. I'm not denying that there was aspects of it that I did enjoy. Mainly the combat. But there's aspects I didn't enjoy. For example, the story, and obviously how tanky the zombies are, and the stupid swamp zombies, scarecrow, straw man fucking zombies. that just you have to be in a specific form to be able to fight to kill them. It's just frustrating and annoying. But yeah, the music's okay. It's just kind of there. But if you keep listening to it again and again and again, you will get sick of it. So let's go over the story, because funny enough, there's only one question, I think. Is there like one question? There's one question on Game FAQs, and it says, can someone give me the English translation of the story events? And you may think to yourself, what do you mean, why is he asking it? The story should be translated. Guess what? It's half translated. The lazy fuckers, right? Either at 505 Game Street, and this is what makes me believe, I think 505 Game Street didn't actually finish the game in terms of like the translation when they gave it over to Essential Games, and Essential Games just shipped it as it is because it's half translated. You have each of the little synopsises at the beginning of each stage are translated, so you get the idea. Aya, basically, she finds out from her father that she has a younger sister, and the younger sister really hates the father. The sister then gets in contact with Aya. The younger sister, Saki, gets in contact with Aya and says, hey, I've killed father for killing mother, or something like that, because she thinks her father killed her mother, and so on and so forth. I'm probably not going to explain the story very well. So Aya is going after Saki, her younger sister, for both to find out what really happened to her father, and two, to find out more about her younger sister that she now has just been made known that exists. And that's basically what it is. You go through, you start in a cemetery, you go through to the city, you go through a hospital twice. They reuse environments a lot in this game, by the way. And then you go through an underground passage before you get to your sister, and so forth, and so on and so forth, right? There is bosses in the game. You fight against these two undead high school girls. You fight against this, like, I don't know, samurai monster looking thing. I have a feeling that could be their father. I'm not too sure, though, in a zombified form, but I'm not too sure. And he doesn't really look that much like the father figure that they have in Origin, so I'm not sure. The game doesn't explain it. Good luck looking on the wiki. The wiki doesn't tell you shit either about the story. And then you also have the baby. There's the baby boss, which appears in Origin, that you fight. Again, there's no real, like, what's it about? Nothing. There's no interactions here. There's no conversation here. Which makes me think there might have been, though. Because at the very end of the game, before you fight Saki, there's this really long cutscene of just camera angles. The camera panning across and just showing different angles of Aya and Saki, and it goes on for an uncomfortably long time. Like, I'm talking about 4 minutes of just nothing. And then you'll have, like, something, and then it'll zoom in on Aya, and then zoom in on Saki, and then Aya gets her sword ready to fight Saki in the same cutscene, and you realize to yourself, holy shit, there's supposed to be text on screen right now of the conversation that they're actually having in game. But there's nothing like that. I thought maybe if I changed from hardware to software settings, similar to the issues I had with the Berserk PS2 game. Nope, nothing changed, nothing. I'm gonna try and put all the like cutscenes in a video on Biotex so you can see for yourself. Nothing. You just get nothing. So, from what I understand is, from what happened in Origin, is Aya sees Saki, talks to her for a long time about questions about mother, father, so on, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth, and tries to reason with her and say, hey, we don't need to fight, why do we need to fight, blah blah blah. And Saki goes on, it's in our blood, we need to fight, because basically they are raised as separately from birth, because in their family, the baneful bloodline family, if there's two girls are born to the bloodline or whatever, they have to fight to the death because only one of them can exist. But their parents didn't want that, so they raised them separately, basically. Whereas Aya, I think, was raised by her father, and Saki was raised by her mother. And that's basically the whole entire thing with it. So it was kind of predestined that they were going to have to fight at some point, because apparently it's a part of their bloodline and all that jazz. So yeah, so that's Zombie Hunter's story, basically, from what I remember in Origin. So it's too bad it isn't actually translated what the story is. It really sucks, but it is what it is, I guess. But that's basically the story. Now, I can't really think if there's anything else to mention about the game, but to give my final kind of like 2 cents about it, I'm even tempted. I think I might do this as a separate video, potentially, than having it. I was going to do like Zombie Hunters and Zombie Hunters 2 in the same video, but seeing as how long this video is going on for, of me talking about the first game, which I didn't think I was going to be talking this much about the first game, it'll be probably quite a long video if I do both of them together, so I'll do them separately. So Zombie Hunters 2 will come later down the line, right? As its own separate video. But yeah, overall, the game it's just kind of there. It's a budget hack and slash game. It's okay. You might find some fun with the game if you enjoy the Dynasty Warriors games, maybe. And that's only a maybe. You might find this to be a downgrade in comparison to Dynasty Warriors, which I would. Again, you're only playing as one character, with Dynasty Warriors allows you to play as loads of characters. It's probably not a great comparison, to be fair. But yeah, it's just kind of there as a video game. It's okay. I haven't really got much else to say about it, right? The controls are fine. The gameplay is fine. It's just the game is held back solely by just how difficult the game is, and just how tanky the zombies are, which could be my own fault. I should have maybe lowered the difficulty to easy than normal. And I shouldn't have just kept, I should be better at video games, right, than just sucking immeasurably at this game. But I had an easier time playing through Origin than I did this game. This game I just found to be just unreasonably hard, at least in my opinion. So, but maybe 18 hours, a bit too much time spent in the game, to be fair. At that point, you might as well just say, oh, you must have enjoyed the game, Bio. You spent 18 hours in the game. I know. I know. But anyway, I'm going to call it there. I will say my final verdict for this game is to try it. Try this game, see if you can put up with the combat. The stage 1 is a very good stage to kind of tell you whether or not it's going to be your kind of game anyway. So, give it, try it. I wouldn't say, finish the game, just try it. See what you think. But anyway, I've been Bio. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.